On the feast of St. Michael and all the angels, may we also be the beneficiaries of Elisha's prayer, that we would open our eyes and see God's power made manifest in our lives. So often we feel outnumbered. We feel outgunned. We bring knives to gunfights all the time. That's where kind of Jesus' people, and we kind of out there and all by ourselves, faced with the forces of this world, and like Elisha's attendant, it's like, the game, the jig is up. The game's over. They were surrounded. What are we going to do now? And Elisha, with just that kind of insouciance, says, basically, don't worry about it, son. There are way more with us than there are with them. And you have to remember, you have to just think of some tiny little village in the Israelite hill country, and a major detachment of Aramaean soldiers are surrounding it. They don't have a chance. But ultimately, the angelic host will deliver Elisha and his servant from danger, and has signs of God's power to deliver his people. And when I was in Sudan, I heard that the testimonies of villages in very similar situations, with the army from the northern part of the country, a battalion of soldiers coming down on the village, and there was no way they could possibly escape with the women and children. They were too close, and they were the battalion was coming through the bush and kind of moving towards the village, and they got inside the church and they prayed, and their testimony was a swarm of bees, a massive swarm of bees attacked the battalion of soldiers and scatter them into the bush, where many of them just kind of died of thirst and kind of got lost, and the entire attack was broken up, and the village was saved. And they prayed in the confidence and the hope that there were more on their side than on the side of the powers of this world that threatened them. So we give thanks to God for the powers of heaven, which are not sealed off from us, are not removed from us, but are pressing in upon our lives if we but would have the eyes to see. So let us open our eyes. Let us open our eyes and be able to sing with the angels. It is fascinating to me that in the book of Revelation, what's most associated with angels is song. And likewise in the Gospel of Luke, the glory to God in the highest and peace to his people on earth, that the angelic hosts are associated with hymns of triumph. And so when we open our eyes, let us also open our ears to the triumph that the angelic hosts sing and anticipate and bid us enter into. The triumph of suffering love of Jesus Messiah. From the second book of Kings. Once when the king of Aram was at war with Israel, he took counsel with his officers. He said, "At such and such a place shall be my camp." But the man of God sent word to the king of Israel, "Take care not to pass this place, because the Arameans are going down there." The king of Israel sent word to the place which the man of God spoke. More than once or twice he warned such a place so that it was on alert. The mind of the king of Aram was greatly perturbed because of this. He called his officers and said to them, "Now tell me, who among us sides with the king of Israel?" Then one of his officers said, "No one, my lord king. It is Elisha, the prophet in Israel, who tells the king of Israel the words that you speak in your bedchamber." He said, "Go and find where he is. I will send and seize him." He was told, "He is in Dothan." So he sent horses and chariots there and a great army. They came by night and surrounded the city. When an attendant of the man of God rose early in the morning and went out, an army with horses and chariots was all around the city. His servant said, "Alas, master, what shall we do?" He replied, "Do not be afraid, for there are more with us than there are with them." Then Elisha prayed, "O Lord, please open his eyes that he may see." So the Lord opened the eyes of the servant, and he saw. The mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.